My name's David Mitchell. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at NYMBUS. Thank you very much for coming today. I'm very thankful and honored that FinDEVr let us come here, and thankful that I'm honored that I get to present NYMBUS today to you guys. So everyone here knows FinTech, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background, though, first about why we're so passionate about serving this industry, what the product is that we're launching and coming out with, and we're excited about it. Community banking and FinTech in general, as everyone knows, has been under extreme pressure. First with the subprime credit crisis, the recession, and there's been many institutions that have gone away or been acquired or merged, to the extent now that we only have 12,500 community banks left here in the United States. And we are passionate about it because we feel they're pillars. They're pillars of the community, right? These are the ones that, for 50% of all loans, 100,000 and below, to small businesses are lended by community banks and credit unions. So those are going away. So how do we help them? Well, it's interesting because if I've asked anybody in this audience right now who has a pager and who has a Walkman, not too many people are going to raise their hand. But community banks right now are on 30-year-old, 20-year-old technology, the oldest technology in the world. It's been lipstick on a pig, mainframes, green screens for 20, 30 years. And they've had no options. And I'll explain our friendly competitors in the market here in a minute. But they needed help, hence NYMBUS. We came up with the idea that we really needed to start with the central hub, which we call core processing, the heart and soul of a financial institution. So that's why we're here today, to talk about what we're doing from a technology perspective. The challenges that they're facing are kind of threefold in my view. You have the industry challenges to try to grow and create a successful, thriving community bank or credit union. You have vendor challenges. And then you have just extreme pressure in terms of the way the world is going and the digitalization of the world. So how we think about the problems that we're trying to face is, how do we get these guys off of this old legacy technology? As I walk the room going through all of the other products that you guys have brought here today, everyone's trying to do the same thing. How do we help the consumer more? Which is what we're doing as well, but we're also trying to say, well, let's start with the bank or the credit union so they can also help the consumer. So one big problem they got is the evil empire. And those are my friendly competitors, and I typically don't want to bash my competitors, but I'm going to do it anyway. Only because there's only about 4 or 5 of them out there. They've been around for years. The problem is they're not helping these community banks or credit unions. They're actually putting them out of business. They're sitting on these cash cow software products that they're using. They're not opening up any APIs. They're not allowing any customization or integration. They're not allowing any developers or customers or clients to do their own development. The UIs and the UX are just completely outdated and ugly. Green screens, which I'll talk to you guys a little bit about later. And universally, customers are just dissatisfied. Many of you in the audience today are probably with B of A and Wells and Citi and all these consumers that have a flight to safety because these community-based financial institutions just do not have the tools or the technology or the products to service today's world. It's all channels, all the time, real time, whether it be internet, ATM, voice, etc. Last year was the first year that internet transactions actually were more than branch transactions. That's shocking to me because I haven't been in a branch in years, but that's what we got to solve. We got to solve that channel and that vendor issue that they're having. I told a story last night to one of my colleagues that my mom's run restaurants for 50 years, and 4 times we've had to get loans through some recessions. Otherwise, it would have went out of business, and that was all by a community bank. Well, unfortunately, that community bank no longer exists. It had to go out of business. So this is the problem we're trying to solve. We're not here selling software. We're here to try to advocate for community banks. We do a lot with lobbying for community banks, but the technology is where it all starts. So the problem they have with the siloed effect, I was at a bank recently who has 40 vendors, 40 different vendors to process data, whether it be internet, voice, ATM, debit, mobile, right? 40. So you got high costs. You got no integration, you got to interface everything. It's the siloed application story that drives us, keeps us awake at night. How do we solve it? So there's a new hope, hence NYMBUS. So we got a problem in the industry, guys, right? We need to help these community banks. 8,000 went out of business. So we got 12,000 that we can help and save none of the consumers went away. They all moved, just went to a different bank or credit union, okay? So how we think about the business is one stack, one full system. This is what we're building. Single sign-on, one data set, all channels. Does it sound unrealistic? We're almost there. We've spent over $200 million on the platform already. We're finishing the features, functions, and launching here in July. We've already signed 80 customers, right? This is the future of banking. So how do we think about the technology stack? This is why my CTO couldn't be here and they sent me, so they didn't send the smart guy, so don't get all excited. I'm going to know all this. But we got the data beans, the workflows, the architecture. When it's all said and done, how do we create the most efficient, fast, modern product for these community banks? But we got to do it at a lower cost. Because not only do they have less resources, they have less capital that they can put to work right now on newer technology. So we're able to do that. More importantly, how do we really differentiate ourselves with some special sauce, such as opening up the APIs, okay? Integration is very different than interfacing. We want things to be integrated, look and feel, same UI, across all channels for all products, okay? And it's not unrealistic, because we just did it with another company where you have this power of collaboration amongst credit unions as an example, because they don't compete against each other. You got developers within credit unions right now that want to code, but they can't do anything, right? Because of these legacy vendors that are restricting them. They can't innovate. They can't even change a screen. And more importantly, if they do, they got to wait 6 to 7 months and pay $80,000 from one of our friendly competitors. So our vision is, again, one stack, one single sign-on, but let's open it up. Let's share. Let's collaborate. Let's work together. Private cloud. This might seem boring to you guys, but I'm going to tell you why it's not. So we're going to be offering a private cloud. They need security. Why? I wrote this down. So community bank, what they face right now, and by the way, there's still about 50% of them that are in-house, that are not outsourced into the cloud. But what they face is the OCC, FRB, FDIC, NUCA, OTS, Patriot Act, Check 21, SOX, CRA, HIMDA, Reg Z, Reg E, Bank Security Act, to name a few. How are these guys going to be able to address all of those, right? So we address it for them. We feel like we've got the most advanced private cloud that handles all the compliance, handles all the upgrades, all the customization, all of the things that you would expect from a modern, advanced tech company. So it's really convincing them now to move, especially all of the in-house customers. Who wants to go to a bank today and run in-house servers in their basement? It makes absolutely no sense, okay? So we're going to help them get off of that and do it a lot less expensive. Now, the sex and the sizzle, right, is the user interface. So how do we make it modern and simple, and the usability and the flexibility for whether it be the consumer on the internet or it be a teller or a back office loan person who can create their own screens, have their own workflows, have their own permissions, right? When they open up in the morning, what do they actually do to make them more efficient? We're expecting about a 50% productivity gain from someone going from an old legacy system to our system. They'll be able to cross-sell more products. They'll be able to service their customers better. It's just the way technology works. Everyone in this room knows it. So it's modern, it's simple, it's flexible, and user-friendly, and easy to use. 75% of the training is going to be done, through workflows, through wizards. They just go through it themselves. The ease of customization, the ease of implementation, right? It's going to be so much easier for them with our technology. So this is no joke. I mean, I just saw this in a bank in Phoenix. They had green screens in the bank. So as you get under the hood of some of these older technologies, you'll see the UI and the UX is so inflexible. What does that give to us? It gives us a huge market to go after, to advocate for, and to try to gain some market share. The key business benefits, I'm not going to read these. You'll see them. You know what they all are. It's all about productivity and efficiency. And back to the App Store. So the ecosystem that we want to create through NYMBUS Creator, which is a toolkit that allows us to create applications, allows developers in the room, et cetera, to do the same, is also being exposed. So it's important because one of the things that the system is not about, the old legacy guys are still on flat files I mean, you know, we built the data model around the person or a business. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. You can go, you know, as far as you want, and it's not static, right? So why not open it up and expose it and allow developers to be able to create apps, to create their own screens, to reduce screens? We just had a test where someone went from 13 screens to 1 to do non-sufficient fund transaction, right? Those type of things are going to be able to be done with the power of the NYMBUS platform. And then more special sauce, right? Because what we really want to do is unlock this digital world that we're in right now today, okay? These credit unions want to collaborate and work with each other. I've been to all the trade shows and all of the events, and I've talked to them, and we've lobbied in D.C. We've talked to all these banks about how do they get out of their current footprint. Community banks are struggling because they're typically that little village that they're in with the local restaurant and the local dry cleaner. So they need to expand, right? They need to widen their reach, and credit unions need to work together. So the NYMBUS Exchange, which will be coming out later, I believe next year, it really is twofold. It allows that financial institution to spread their wings to offer products and services anywhere in the world to anybody at any time. It allows the consumer to go and shop for the products and services that they feel they want or need at the best price, and they can all share, right? So you're solving the problem with Uber. Everyone talks about Uber banking, but Uber solved a very significant problem, right? Which was convenience, cost-effective, real-time, right? Based on when you want it. That's what we want to also create with NYMBUS Exchange. As the more and more institutions come onto our core platform, they'll also be able to share, cross-sell, and create products together and services. So we're really excited about that next venture that we're going to be undertaking. And that pretty much wraps it up. I think with all of you guys in the audience that are potential partners, clients, investors, whatever it might be, I really hope you guys take some time and think about the community bank and advocate for it. It really is something I've done for 20 years as part of my career. I'm very passionate about saving these guys. They're very important to the local communities, and we think that the technology that we're developing is going to be a tremendous help to them. So I thank you guys for your time today, and please keep a lookout for NYMBUS. We're on all the social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere else, and Twitter. So hopefully you guys will follow us, and to the extent that you guys have any questions, I'll be at the booth right after this. Thank you.